This is the technical session on revolutionary raw material solutions for tooling industry. For this, I'd like to invite Mr. Pulkit Datta, General Manager, Proterial India Private Limited.
Good afternoon, everyone. Sorry to be in your way towards the lunch, but unfortunately, that's the session that I got. But I'll try to keep it short as well as interesting as much as possible. It's a privilege indeed to be present here and to be able to present some unique solutions for die steel products for the tooling industry. I represent Proterial India Private Limited and very pleased to be here today. The name is Pulkit Datta. I'm basically a mechanical engineer from Punjab Engineering College and did my MBA as well. In the last 23 years, the basic, the majority portion has been in the cutting tool industry with Sandvik in various capacities. That's where I started my job in the sales department, worked in the R&D as well with some product development in various regions like in India, in Sweden and Singapore as well. Currently, from the last 6 years, I'm working with Proterial, which is formerly Hitachi Metals India, and taking care of the tool steel division within Proterial. I remember just last year, I was here and presenting solutions from Hitachi Metals, and now it is solutions from Proterial. And I have not changed any job. The name of the company has changed, in fact, from Hitachi to Proterial. This is a very brief presentation for the next 15 and 20 minutes. I'll try to touch upon what Proterial in Japan is doing, some operations in India, and then something very unique to us is isotropy, and then some very latest introductions from Japan, especially in the field of die casting and cold work steel. We will introduce some new grades like DAC-I and SLDNF and try to introduce how can they bring value into your operations. So Proterial, Hitachi, very recently, Hitachi Metals got out of the Hitachi group. We were bought over by an investment banker named Bain. And the new name is Proterial. This is a very recent development, as latest as January of this year itself. So Proterial is an absolutely new name that didn't exist before. And you must be wondering what is the philosophy behind it. So it's a combination of pro and material. Pro in the sense we would like to convey ourselves as being professional, progressive and proactive, and of course we remain a material-centric organization, so Proterial. So Peshevar, Pragatisheel or Sakriye, these are the foundations of the name or the logo in that sense. But no matter what the change of name or the top management is, we still remain a Japanese organization. The production facilities remain as they've always been in a place called Yasugi in the southeast part of Japan. It's a single manufacturing facility for Proterial products, and that hasn't changed since the last 150 years, I would say. The facility remains in Yasugi, and that's where various specialty steels as well as the die steel material is still manufactured. So our heritage is basically related to the Tatara steel manufacturing process. This is something very unique to Japan. Proterial or Yasugi facility is one of the UNESCO sites still where this traditional process of producing steel is still being followed. And this is used primarily to make the traditional samurai swords. And that's where the origin is, that's where the organization started, and now it has moved over to various other segments as well, including die steel. But the foundations are very, very traditional. We still produce such kind of swords, the raw material for these swords. It's the only certified facility in Japan which can produce the raw material. But as I said, the organization has diversified into various segments. Die steel is just one of them. As you will realize, we put some yellow stars and some green stars in our product portfolio. Yellow stars are the product areas where we are globally #1. Proterial, or Hitachi Metals as it was known formerly, is into various segments. Tool steel is one of them, but we are also in other segments as well: razor blade, piston ring material, CVT belts, spluttering targets for the electronic material. But we take pride in the fact that we are #1 in the Japanese market for die steel products. Both for hot work and cold work steel, Proterial or Hitachi Metals, I'm sorry, I still not take that word out of my vocabulary, but Proterial remains #1 in the Japanese market for die steel solutions. And that in itself is a big sense of achievement for us. We are not globally the #1 supplier, but yes, in Japanese market, we still hold the #1 rankings. In India, Proterial India is, which I'm representing today, our basis is in Gurgaon, in Manesar. And we are not only having, of course, we are having the complete portfolio of products for specialty steels, including die steel solutions as well. You can see the operations are in Gurgaon. We have a manufacturing facility as well for casting products. The die steel retail operations, or the warehouse, just started in 2017. And that's where this whole journey of retail sales and coming into direct contact with our users in India, the journey started. But we have the warehouse facility in Manesar where we are catering to all the customers directly. Having said that, we have the channel partner in India as well. Goel Steel remains our channel partner. So in India, it's a combined approach where we are trying to cover the entire market, both through direct operations as well as through our channel partner. They also have the heat treatment facility today in Chennai, but we are investigating the possibility to have the heat treatment now investment in our own facility in Manesar as well. So we want to be seen as a solution-driven organization rather than just the product suppliers. Isotropy is something very unique to Proterial, and isotropy means that when we produce steel, it is by ensuring that the physical properties of steel is uniform in both the longitudinal and the transverse direction. A very simple example, this is SKD61. Always the toughness in the longitudinal direction would be much better than in the transverse direction. And this is one gap we try to cover with our grades, where we not only improve upon the toughness, but also reduce the quantum difference between the physical properties in both the directions. And with that, you can be assured that irrespective of the orientation of your die or how you are using the raw material, you still get the same consistency of the physical properties for your operations. I would not go into the manufacturing process. This is something which is clear to everyone, but we must highlight that our processes are very consistent. What we really believe in is the vacuum arc remelting and the ESR process, so that the impurities are removed from the steels and you get the best quality steel available in the market today. I'll spend the next few minutes on the main topic, and that is some very revolutionary products that have come for the industry in both the die casting as well as the cold work operations. Proterial or Hitachi does not introduce new products that frequently, but incidentally, in the last 2 years, the R&D department has been working for a number of years, and now it has come up with these two solutions which we feel have the capability to revolutionize the segment. And this has been made possible basically because we've invested in some very high-end equipment in our plant. This is one of the only facility that exists in the Asian region at least. 100 metric newtons machine, a forging press which is designed to deliver a forging force of 90 metric newtons in the forging force and upsetting force of 108. So with this, even the possibility to do the ESR sometimes gets eliminated because the steel you get is very compacted. The kind of grain structures you get is extremely nice in that sense. And with that facility, we are able to produce some of the new grades which I'll talk about today. The first one is the DAC-I grade. Indian market is already familiar with two of our major grades, that is the DAC-P and the DAC Magic series. DAC-P is the SKD61, the normal range. DAC Magic is the double ESR or the double refined grades, which is having an extra toughness and extra resistance to cracks. But there was always a gap in between, which we have now tried to cover with the DAC-I, and with this, we feel the positioning is now extremely strong. We're not only able to cater to the toughness demands in the die casting operations, but also able to maintain high hot hardness without compromising on the toughness part with this DAC-I solution. The toughness or the Charpy impact value is much better compared to DAC-P. This has been proven both for a half cooling time of 40 minutes and 90 minutes. By this, we mean that no matter how big your die or the tool is, this is still able to deliver very good results when it comes to the Charpy impact value. Similar results in high hot strength compared to DAC-P, it has shown much better results. And we are now promoting this grade as much as possible in the Indian market, and it has got very good reviews as well as results so far. But our biggest testimony is the largest EV manufacturer in the world, for which they have already, they are trying to establish this grade at this customer. You can see there have been several trials made with different materials, and DAC-I was the only grade which stood the test of time at this particular customer with much better results compared to any other grade. And this is officially now on board for the largest EV manufacturer in the world, and DAC-I is approved grade for that application. And with this, we are now into some big size molds for the die casting industry. 9,000 ton capacity molds, you will see it so far it is only in China, but I am hopeful and I'm very confident that this types of tools get imported into India as well, and someone out of you is able to produce such big tools for the die casting industry. And that's where we feel that the real power of our grades can be utilized. So this is a brief summary of the die casting solutions. Before we go into the cold work applications, I would just like to mention something very interesting, and that is the manufacturing economics. You are all into production, you are all producing parts for you know that the manufacturing economy probably better than us. But we feel that the cost is divided into two categories, the variable and the fixed cost. And the manufacturing economics is all about controlling these costs so as to produce the component in the least costing possible. What we observed, or what we have seen, which is a common industry practice as well, you have several opportunities to reduce the costing. If we just say that whether you should concentrate on decreasing the cost of the cutting tool, 30% reduction in the price of the cutting tool would eventually reduce the total cost per component only by 1%. So that is not the right area. The cutting tool is not the area you should focus on. Whether you should go for cutting tools which give you increased tool life, no. Even if you increase the tool life by 50%, you're only reducing the cost per component by 1% only. So what should one focus on? I think this area has already been covered in the previous sessions as well. If we can somehow increase the cutting data or improve the cycle times, a 20% increase in the productivity leads to a 15% reduction in the cost per component. And that's because now the same tools, the same raw material is being utilized to reduce the fixed costs as well. So in this background, for the cold work segment, we tried to come up with a tool steel solution which is much more easier to machine compared to the options available in the market today. We call it the free cutting steel, or the SLDF series for the cold work applications. SKD11 is a known solution already. SLD Magic is a patented grade by Proterial, which is a double refined grade. But SLDF now is a new grade which we call as a free cutting steel, so that you can machine this grade, this material, at a much higher or a faster rates compared to your existing solutions, and reduce your cycle times tremendously without compromising on the performance. And this has been made possible by some improvements in the grain structure and the chemical composition as well. Some quick examples. This is the test that we just concluded in a technology center in Pune just last month, in fact, where we compared machining of SKD11, that is our SLD grade, compared to SLDF with I think this is a high feed end mill, where we wanted to compare the results. In the previous session, the gentleman talked about increasing the parameters to improve the tool life, the productivity. And it all boils down to the metal removal rate. 83 was the existing benchmark with SKD11 at various parameters. By just improving the depth of cut as well as the step over, we were able to go up to 133. That's a 70% improvement in productivity. So imagine reducing your cycle time by 70% just by utilizing a raw material which is much easier to machine compared to your existing ones, without compromising on the tool life whatsoever. In fact, you can see the existing tool wear on the standardized inserts for SKD11. SLDF has a much better machining wear pattern compared to that. So this is machining at 133 cubic centimeter per minute, a 70% improvement over the existing cycles for cold work applications, which we feel is going to revolutionize the way you machine your dies and your tools in the future for cold work applications. We tried to do some analysis on the chip formation as well. The results have been very encouraging. SLDF has given very good, consistent results in terms of chip evacuation and integrity of the tools. This is done on a Makino machine. with some Mitsubishi tools, but the results with SLDF have been phenomenal. We can easily say 70% much easier to machine compared to the existing ones. And this is not only in the tempered condition, but also in the heat-treated condition. 61 HRC, we tried to replicate the results to find out whether we could enhance the productivity. Yes, the results are similar. This is a cutting speed of 340 meters per minute on hardened steel of 63 HRC in a heat-treated condition. The chip evacuation as well as the life of the tool is extremely good, and we believe this will change the way tools are getting machined today. This has a tremendous opportunity to reduce your cycle time and bring it to a level which was not possible before. And this basically has been made possible. You can see the chip formation in conventional SKD11 steel and the SLDF. The shearing is much better compared to the conventional steels. And with this change of the microstructure as well as the overall chemistry, we have been able to make a free cutting steel available in the market today. So these grades, these stocks, both for DAC-I, which is a solution for die casting, as well as SLDF, today are available in India. We have the solutions. Japan is already using this products, and we are glad that we are now able to promote it to your applications as well. Last slide, not only the hardness values, every aspect of SLDF is much improved over the conventional SKD11. I just touched upon the machining aspect, but even the hardness values, the wear resistance, toughness, chipping resistance is better. We are waiting for an opportunity to try it in your shop floor. Thank you very much for your attention, and this brings me to the end of it. And please remember, Hitachi Metals has now become Proterial. Thank you very much.